Okay, so we're starting. So hopefully everyone can still hear me fine. But thank you all for joining us this evening. Looking forward to getting into the content. Oh, make sure my sound's no sound coming through. Looking forward to getting into content. So to kind of give some background on BDPA. So I know you heard some good tenure of folks that have been with BDPA or at least been volunteering with BDPA for a number of years now. But for those that might be unfamiliar, BDPA is a nonprofit membership organization. I guess we engage the community in a couple areas. So there is like our youth focus, there is our college focus, and then there's professional. So youth, if those that might have joined a little early, you might have heard me talk about it a little bit, but we have a STEM program that we run starting up actually this Saturday, and it will be running just up until the conference that is annually around August. So in that program, we're having students come in with low exposure or decent exposure if they're returning students, and we're introducing them to web development concepts. And the goal for that is one, the main goal is exposure, but if the students are, I guess, really picking up the material, they could potentially participate in at the national conference competition, and with that, they could earn scholarship dollars, and also they get the opportunity to network with a lot of the companies that are at the conference. So a way to potentially line up things that they could do while maybe still in high school or when they start in college, like different roles they could start off with. So that's kind of the youth program that's starting up this Saturday. If you know any students that are interested in registering, again, I'll post links to our content in the chat so they can register there. If you're interested in volunteering, like we actually have probably 90 or more registrations for this year. So it's a mix of returning students and new students, and they're also just all across the nation. So there's students here in Atlanta still, but there's also students like outside of Atlanta and in other states. So yeah, thanks, Derek. So if you're interested in volunteering and helping us facilitate a training this year, we're planning to participate with the web development, mobile app development, kind of research, like if you're familiar, kind of like with research that happens like in academia, and also data science. So we're hoping to have all those different, I guess, facets this year, and we definitely need help with working with the students. So if you're interested in that, feel free to ping me, and we can get talking on how to get you involved. So that's the youth piece. There's the I guess the college piece where we're still growing that. We have a bit of a relationship with Georgia State, just with one partly because of State Farm, but Georgia State is one of the colleges that we've been working with probably the most, with like having those students actually come out to our conference and networking with them a bit more. But we want to grow that a bit more with having, at least I guess locally, having more colleges that we're interfacing with. So that's still growing. And then we have the professional area where we've been able to have these monthly sessions to expose folks to, or professionals to, the emerging technologies or new roles, like potential roles coming up with Mailchimp. I guess the summation of all of that is we're mainly focused on exposure. So exposure to the youth, exposure to like recent or kids that are currently in college, and then exposure to the professional community. So with that, also want to give time to thank our sponsors. So I mentioned State Farm a little bit. So State Farm has helped us out with donating money for, I don't know how many years, but it's been a number of years now since I've been involved, but they've been helping with donating money. That's been helping us with one, like right now with us still being virtual. So being able to host these monthly meetings with Zoom as our platform. And also thanking Matrix, who's been able to help us, one, with the content. So Mailchimp actually coming out and speaking with us today. I guess one last note before I hand it over to John to introduce our guests. for those that are members or they maybe believe they should be members or should be on our mailing list, there should be newsletters that come out maybe at least once a month. If you're not getting those, again, feel free to reach out to us. That includes content like these monthly meetings that happen, like the youth program that I was mentioning, any other opportunities that are coming up, like and then also I know there's a survey on there that we're trying to kind of get a feel of the members' backgrounds. So that's one way to kind of just see what updates we're pushing out, and then also a way that we're connecting with you all to see how we can better cater our content. So if you're not getting the newsletter, please let us know. But I think with that, I'll hand it over to John. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shanika. Hey, before I introduce Felicia, I wanted to brag on Shanika and Victor Montgomery from last year. So there, I do see a lot of new faces on here. So BDPA across the country, there's 30 chapters across the US. And every year there's like a Super Bowl, right? So there's like a chapter of the year that's won. And last year, BDPA Atlanta, they won the Super Bowl. So they were the chapter of the year for BDPA across the entire country. So much of that was Shanika, Victor, like really leaning in and helping out with the youth group and the STEM education, everything. We did, like this tiny little bit just with helping out with the monthly meetings and connections that we have to bring forth great speakers, great programs like we're going to have tonight with Felicia and the folks from Mailchimp. So I'm John Veray. I'm the regional director at Matrix. I run our Atlanta office and our Birmingham office. Been at Matrix for 28 years. A little bit of news about us. We just merged with another company at the end of last year with a company out of Boston. So now we're a $500 million company. We have offices in 22 offices across the country. So it was a good move for us. I think a little bit of that happened with Mailchimp not too long ago too, right? So maybe we'll hear a little bit about that as well. So I go pretty far back with a couple of people here. Felicia at Macy's, Derek from Macy's way back. Wow, yeah, probably like in the early 2000s, I think. So I won't talk too much about that. It makes us feel a little old, but you guys don't look, I get old. You guys, what's up with that? Anyways, but Felicia, what a wonderful person, what a great person at Macy's to work with. Helped her along the way with a few resources, IT resources. That's what Matrix does. We're a placement and consulting company. But Felicia's background, she's the director of engineering at Mailchimp. Prior to that, again, she was at Macy's for quite a long time. And along the way, she's very, very familiar with this. And when I asked her hey, would you lean in and help with BDPA Atlanta, she was like, of course I would. Felicia was the president of BDPA Atlanta from 2011 to 2013, and then also the VP of the entire South region for BDPA in the 2016-2017 timeframe. So thank you, Felicia, so much for leaning in with us tonight, and it should be a great session. I think we were brainstorming ideas, what adds value, to the community, to our Atlanta companies, great companies like Mailchimp and others. And we thought, with the explosion of the marketplace right now, it would be valuable for all sides to hear about opportunities. So this is kind of the first of a series that we're going to try to put together here with companies coming on and just talking about themselves, highlighting who they are, talk about their culture, what it's like to work there, and highlight a lot of the opportunities that they have. And it sounds like there's a lot at Mailchimp. So no more of me. I'm going on mute. Felicia, it's all you.
I'm so extra humble here. Thank you, John, for that great intro and stuff and taking me back to some of the old days. I'll put in quotes and stuff. I also want to thank Shanika and BDPA Atlanta for inviting and giving us this great platform to talk and brag about Mailchimp and some of the great opportunities we have available. So me and my fellow Mailchimp peeps, we are very humbled, as I said just a second ago, and excited to be here. So thank you again. And Kristen, you ready to get us started?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can you all see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Good. All right, great. So let's get into it. So my name is Kristen, just to introduce myself for a second. Have been at Mailchimp for right over 3 years, and I'm a recruiter here. So I love Mailchimp. I could talk about it all day, but I'll try to keep it on the shorter side for y'all tonight. So yeah, we were founded in 2001, founded in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where our headquarters is. So we're about 20 years old now. Hard to believe it. We started as an email marketing company. So really trying to help our small business users figure out how to send really beautiful emails and grow their businesses using Mailchimp. Now, over the past 5 or 6 years, though, we've become more of an all-in-one marketing platform. So now it's not just email anymore, but we've added things like being able to send out social media ads for your business, or create a website with your business, which was really awesome, or even create graphics for your emails and continue to send really great email campaigns. So we are just growing a ton right now, really have been over the past 5 or 6 years. And empowering the underdog is really our thing. So that's our vision. That's what we do. We're trying to always help our small business users grow and succeed. And this runs really deep within our company. So both of our co-founders, Ben Chestnut and Dan Cursius, grew up with families where their parents were trying to run small businesses, and they saw firsthand just how tough it can be to not only run a business full time, but then also on top of that, figure out how to market that business and continue to grow that business. So that's where we come in. We're trying to make it easy for our small business users to grow and continue to succeed. And yes, so as John alluded to, we did just get acquired back in November of 2001. So a couple months ago now. It's been a really awesome change, a really great time to be here. And it really made a lot of sense. So our mission, as I said, is to empower the underdog, and Intuit's mission is to power prosperity. So combining those, it made a lot of sense to align. Nobody else in the business is really creating this integration like we have with QuickBooks and Mailchimp, for example, where you can start and then run and grow your business all using this integration. So most companies either focus on like running the business or growing the business, but we're trying to combine all of that. So really awesome time to be here, and it's been a great change. And then we do have offices in Atlanta. As I said, that's where our headquarters is. We have offices in Brooklyn, Oakland, Vancouver, and London. And now with Intuit, technically worldwide as well. All right, so a little bit about our interview process. So I will say this does vary from job to job, depending on level and department, but for the most part, it does follow this general, process. So it would start with the application, you applying for a job that you see either on the Mailchimp job board or Indeed or LinkedIn, wherever you might see the job. After that, you'll have a phone call with someone like me or someone on my team. You'd have a recruiter phone call. And that's usually a pretty short call, around like 15 to 20 minutes, going over a little bit about the role and then also getting to know you better, making sure you meet those minimum qualifications. After that, you'd have a longer conversation, a hiring manager phone interview with the hiring manager for the role. And that's going to dig a little bit deeper, really making sure they understand your background and your experience and skill set. And then it's also a really great question to ask, or a really great time to ask questions about the role or about the team or the duties in the job. So after that, you would have the face-to-face interview, which right now we are all still remote. So that would be over Zoom. But that's really the biggest chunk of the interview process. So it could vary. You could have 1 or 2 sessions here in this face-to-face round. If you're applying for an engineering role, you might have a technical round and then a team or a values round. You might have homework that you are prepared, that you bring with you and you're prepared to chat about, or you might have a presentation or a case study. So this is really where it varies per job. But after that face-to-face interview is my favorite part, the offer, where we get to tell you, hey, we'd love to bring you on and figure out how to, when your start date is and how to get you on board with us. All right, I am super excited to talk about this part, interviewing tips and tricks. As I said, I'm a recruiter. I look at tons of resumes a week. So I can definitely, give you some tips and tricks that I would recommend as a recruiter. The number one being tailoring your resume. So tailoring your resume really starts with reading the job description, really understanding what it is that you're applying for, really knowing in and out what this company is looking for, what the qualifications are, the qualifications that you 100% meet, and maybe those that, you're still working on. Understanding that and just taking the time to read the job description will already put you, way above candidates who aren't taking the time to do that. Now, after you read that job description and you're really understanding what it is that they're looking for, that's when you take it another step further and you're tailoring your resume. So I have an example here, to talk to you about tailoring your resume. This is a job that we posted, the Database Engineer 3 role. It's remote. And I've just copied and pasted the requirements here. So we'd love to hear from you if you have experience with cloud services, MySQL, Spanner, Cloud SQL, experience with data modeling, PHP, Golang, Python. So all of these are the things that you need to do the job, right? So after reading through this, what I would recommend is literally going through and underlining those things that the job is looking for, whether you print it out and highlight it if you want, or, bring out those pieces, those requirements that that you have, bring them out and then make sure they're in your resume. However you do it, the gist of it is you want to go in there and make sure that everything that they list, those skills that that you have or the experience that you have, make sure that's on your resume. And make sure it's visible too. If I'm applying for this role and I know that I have really great PHP experience, but it's buried really deep within my resume and the recruiter can't see it easily, then, they might not see it. So you definitely don't want that. So making sure that those requirements that you do meet are visible and the recruiter and hiring manager can easily see them.
Are you taking questions in real time or at the end?
I think at the end, right,
Okay.
Noel, or is it okay if okay, we'll do the end. So hang on to that question.
Thank you.
Awesome, of course. So a couple other tips, we could probably talk about tips all day, but I think these are probably the biggest ones. Number one, apply as early as possible. So as soon as you see that job listing, don't say, okay, I'm just going to wait a week and then apply, because the job might not even be there anymore at that point. We get a ton of applications. So certainly trying to apply as soon as you can. Go ahead and get your resume in there as quickly as possible. Number two, we sort of talked about this or touched on it a little bit earlier, but really learn about the company, know who Mailchimp is, who Intuit is, what we stand for, what, of course, the team is doing and the role, but, knowing about the company and showing that passion for the company will certainly help out as well. Number three, have stories ready. So this really comes into play more in that like face-to-face Zoom interview stage, but I would recommend Googling top situational or behavioral interview questions. Those are questions like, tell me about a time when you XYZ, maybe when you led a project and it was successful, or you made a mistake at work. Those questions take a little bit more thought, right? It's sometimes hard to pull back those examples from our past careers. So I would recommend going through and Googling those questions, having those examples ready, practicing them. And then if you do get a question like, tell me about a time you made a mistake, I'd recommend having what you learned from that mistake ready. So think about that. What did I learn from that mistake? Then you can tell the interviewer, I messed up, but here's what I learned. And I haven't done that since because I put X, Y, and Z into place so that doesn't happen again. And then number four, show your enthusiasm. As I said, we want to bring people on to Mailchimp who are excited about Mailchimp, and that can go a long way. So certainly be yourself, show your enthusiasm, and that can go a long way for you as a candidate. All right. So what we're hiring for, TLDR, we are hiring for everything right now. We have jobs in corporate strategy, jobs in our customer, product support teams, design roles, lots of engineering, marketing, people, product, and a ton of internships that are posted right now as well. So I brought on a little GIF here so you can see we really do have quite a few roles open at the moment. So head on over to mailchimp.com/jobs if you want to check those out, read into some of those job descriptions. You'll see the location is next to each title as well. And I do want to call out a lot of these jobs are remote too, or have, flexible working options. So yeah, I believe that Meredith's going to send out this link after in an email. So you should have that link. But if you have any questions about any of these roles, please feel free to reach out. All right. So now without further ado, I will pass it back over to Felicia, our Director of Engineering.
Woo, woo, woo. Wow, Christian, that was so awesome and great. Let me make sure I match that same energy, even though it's getting later in the evening, so I can keep everyone else perked up as well. But I am very excited to talk about Mailchimp engineering. So, our Mailchimp engineering, it consists of our development and operations areas, which is over 300 engineers working together in the same space to build and maintain awesome things for our customers. Awesome, awesome things. So engineering is a core competency and competitive advantage for Mailchimp. We enable Mailchimp to pursue its vision of being that world's most loved and most inspiring small business brand. So it's really important as to what everyone in the company does, because all of us play a main part in what we do for the company, all the different roles that Christian just rolled through showing with the GIF and everything. But I still want to focus on engineering as a main point here and enabler. So next I want to share with you about our engineering vision. So our vision is we give marketers production-ready software designed to help them grow. We succeed through togetherness, momentum, and pragmatism. So that first statement, it describes the what, is what our engineering teams do. The second statement is the how. It's how our engineers behave. So our teams follow that mission statement to innovate, release product, and to scale the company. So when technology decisions, when we make those, we striving to be, rapid, flexible, and reliable. And we want clear ownership, teamwork, low toil, minimizing cognitive load, and keeping things simple so that we are supporting the business and delivering improvements to our customers. So I'm proud to say that over the past couple of years, Mailchimp launched a slew of new channels and functionalities that Christian talked about earlier. Remember, she was talking about the social posting, digital ads, also, with that marketing CRM, auto shoppable landing pages and everything, the postcards, website, small content, tools, advanced automations, all of that. And more, and so much more. Our teams do so much more. And so our engineers, they're able to do that with our following tech stack that we have. So Mailchimp is a huge app, to say the least. With millions of users around the world, our operations teams provide and maintain the infrastructure on which our developers build the app. So our product lives in a monolith repository. Backend services are written using our custom-built PHP framework called Avista. And the front end is written in a combination of Dojo and React. Our long-term goal is to migrate our front-end code base to a single-page React application. We use the MySQL for a database, and we're currently using AWS. But our technical strategy is to move the majority of our infrastructure to GCP. Our objective with infrastructure is to give the company confidence to continue to innovate and do amazing things. So tonight, we are lucky to have three of our wonderful engineering managers, Alvaro, Talmadge, and Lee, here to spotlight their teams and their work while also highlighting some open positions they are looking to fill. So I turn this over to Alvaro.
Thank you, Felicia. Happy to be here. Hello, my name is Alvaro Sanchez. My pronouns are he and him. I'm currently part of Mailchimp's Atlanta office, and I'm a senior engineering manager in the websites and commerce teams. I would like to talk to you about our team's vision and focus areas. Our vision is to aspire to be the #1 all-in-one marketing and commerce platform for small businesses. We want to be the small business brand synonymous with business success and become the center of small business growth. Our teams focus on critical user-centric areas that enable us to execute our vision and drive success for our business and our customers, helping create an end-to-end customer growth platform. Some of the offerings we're responsible for in my teams include websites, domains, stores, and more recently, online appointments. We are currently looking for talented software engineers with curiosity and drive to challenge the status quo. Some of the areas we want to improve and help develop are new product types for stores. We're currently expanding the offerings and the types of products our online store support. Enhancements to online appointments. We want to continue to elevate this feature's value proposition. Some examples are providing integrations to third-party calendars and enabling commerce, allowing our customers to transact directly within our platform, selling services and products. And improvements to our website builder. We are increasing the capability of our website editor and expanding features for website creation. So we're in the process of opening multiple positions for our websites and commerce teams, and we will be looking for engineering managers, backend engineers, and front-end engineers. So please keep checking our jobs page for new additions to roles. In the meantime, we're currently looking for a software engineer with front-end or full-stack development experience, expertise in React, Agile principles, PHP, and Google Cloud Platform are all pluses. And these skills will help us bring our projects to the next level and help fulfill the mission of our websites and commerce teams. With that, please let me welcome Talmage, one of our engineering managers in platform engineering. And thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks, y'all. Thanks for having me. Definitely excited to share a few of my open roles. As Alvaro mentioned, I'm Talmage, and I'm an engineering manager here based in New York. I've been with Mailchimp for about 2 years now, and currently I'm running our platform engineering group. Platform engineering is like a relatively new area for Mailchimp. We spun up about a year ago to kind of focus more on our backend core components and tools that power our application. Really, the whole goal is to kind of help use different infrastructure pieces that we have internally to help power our product engineering efforts to build customer-facing features more quickly and like more in maintainable way. So personally, I think these teams are really exciting because you have like a horizontal impact. You know, through these efforts, you can see your impact and results on a lot of different customer-facing features. So one of the things to note about these teams is we're pretty heavily involved in this GCP migration that Felicia brought up. So that affords us like a lot of unique opportunities to help build like best practices through the company in terms of like cloud migration strategy and coding standards and stuff like that. So we also host like a lot of different consulting engagements internally and in various trainings. So that's kind of what platform engineering is. Right now we have 3 teams, but probably will be adding a few more this year. But you can see the 3 teams in the bottom right here. And then 2 of them are currently hiring like a senior engineer / like staff engineer. So the first team that's hiring is our job runner team, which manages an async job prioritization queue. As you can imagine, like, you know, when users use an application, we key off a lot of different jobs that are pretty process intensive to some dedicated servers. And this team is like responsible for that queue, making sure things are like in the right order and like delivering things in a timely timely result. Some of the features that kind of utilize this is like our campaign send feature or our Mailchimp billing feature, all that sort of thing. And this team definitely has like a big impact just of all the different features that use the job queue. Now, the second team that's hiring is our audience data infrastructure team. At Mailchimp, we refer to our customer's customer as the audience. So, Mailchimp is all about like helping small businesses interact with their customers. So you can imagine like this team is involved in a lot of different features. Two that maybe I could highlight is like you can use your customer data to segment into different pieces for your email marketing, for example, like your high value customers and that sort of thing. We also have like an inbox feature and survey feature that this team helps power. So lastly, I just want to highlight one last thing about the audience data team. This group is going to be front and center with the Intuit acquisition. One of the key projects that we're kind of doing is like sharing data between the two companies. And this team is going to be like pretty heavily involved in that with 2022. So I think that's kind of a unique and cool project to work on. So yeah, so we're looking for a senior or staff level candidate. If that's not the right fit, we're also hiring an intern for this summer. So if you know anyone that might be a good fit for that, please let me know. And yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer anything during the Q&A. And with that, let me hand the mic to Lee so you can do the last team highlight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Talmadge. And like everyone has said before me, happy to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee Tsai, and I am based in New York. I am the engineering manager for Mailchimp's engineering enablement team. We are a growing team of 5 engineers right now. We have 1 staff engineer, 2 engineer level 3s, and 2 engineer level 2s. Our team is in the process of modernizing Mailchimp's development environment, which, as Felicia said earlier on, is used by over 300 engineers. We are looking for 2 candidates to join us. One opening is for senior, so there's some delivery, some mentoring expectations and elements to it. And the other is for an engineer level 3, where we're looking for some subject matter expertise in DevOps. It's also just a great opportunity for a blossoming technical leader. Can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, and as far as what the team is looking for, we're not tied to a specific technology implementation, but we are looking for experience with containers, container orchestration, and the cloud. And more importantly, we're looking for individuals with a curiosity to learn, an affinity to take action, and just that passion to make others better, to elevate the team. I've been at a few companies prior to joining Mailchimp, and I can pretty comfortably and confidently say that what makes this team stand out is that we're collaborative, dynamic, and high functioning. We work with dozens of engineering teams by nature of what we're meant to do, from infrastructure teams to product teams. The work is interesting. It's also high impact as it affects the way our engineers do their work. The team practices egoless leadership and believe that good ideas can come from our most senior as well as our least experienced engineers. So if what I shared with you today resonates, please do reach out. We'd be excited to learn more about you. And with that, I'd like to pass it back to Kristen.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Okay, so without further ado, it's time for our Q&A session. If you have any questions for any of us who have spoken today, please feel free to drop those in the chat or come off mute, and we'd be happy to answer them. Oh, chat. Okay. Lost the chat.
Christian?
Hey.
With 3 words, how would you describe your culture?
Wow. I would say, yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say creative for sure. I feel like that's one, even though I'm not really like in a creative role myself, I feel like the office, the people you're working with all feel very creative. I would say inclusive. I feel like our culture, does a really good job of making you feel valued as an employee. Speaking from personal experience, I don't think I've ever felt as valued as I have, being at Mailchimp for the past 3 years. And for the last one, I think that I would say mission driven. Like, I think that we're really, we, like I said, empowering the underdog is our mission. And I feel like that it really, you can tell, when you're talking to our leaders, when you're hearing about our initiatives, like it all goes back to being mission driven and wanting to empower the underdog.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Great question. And if anyone else has 3 words that you want to say too, that, might be different, please feel free to throw those out too.
I think your 3 words described they was right on point, Kristen, and everything. And of course, as everyone knows, the company has its culture, and then each department has its own culture within the culture, and then teams have their own cultures within their departments, right? And so in the engineering department, our culture is more of a blameless culture. And that's one of the things we do share, with candidates as we're interviewing. They're asking us those questions. But that's one of the things I love about our engineering department is the blameless culture and stuff. It's where we want people to feel okay to innovate, to go out there, try new things, do things, be innovative without the fear of having that finger pointed at you. You've done something wrong. There's a chance of, something negative happening to you. Yes, we do retros of things that have happened, how we can do them better, make them better. But usually it's that blameless culture and stuff. So that makes a world of difference.
Absolutely. So I see we have a question in the chat. What approach does Mailchimp use for site reliability? SRE and DevOps, Google, or ITIL?
So currently we do have our SRE, and we have our team. We don't do DevOps yet, even though we're going towards that. A lot of people and companies look at DevOps and say, ooh, that's a bad word and stuff. But we have a team specific, and it's called an SRE team. We do a lot of monitoring and with different tools for absorbing and monitoring all of our, systems, applications, and all the different services that we have.
Do you employ digital project managers, program managers, that type of thing?
Yes. Yes, we do. I would need to go and check. I'm more focused in like engineering and support, but definitely on our jobs page, I'm sure we have some that are posted.
Yes, we have the project managers and program managers. I know those are some positions that are open. We have them on the product side, along with also on our engineering side for the operations and infrastructure area.
I have a question. I'm a data professional myself, but more on the business analyst and data analyst side. I've been doing it for quite a few years. I want to move more towards data engineering, and actually specifically, I was looking at that database engineering role, but don't quite have all the skill sets. Or if I do have it, I don't have a lot of experience with it. Like I haven't touched Python or PHP or MySQL probably since, right around college time. But I do a lot of data cleaning, data wrangling. What would be the transition for somebody like me to go from a business data analyst to more of a database or data engineering role?
That's a good question there. And that's going to be a little difficult for me to answer, not me being over that area and within that area. But I do feel to me, it should be an easy transition going from a data analyst to a database engineer. It's just, mostly trying to do more of learning the different database languages and stuff, especially with Mailchimp. We're doing MySQL, but we're also expanding out to the others to be more intact with Google, since we're going towards the cloud and stuff. But what I can do, I can get your information, Marcus. I know we'll be getting all of you all's information, and what I can do is have you in contact with one of our database managers, along with our principal engineer from that, to give some better advice on how to transition over from data analyst into a data engineer. I don't think I would do you justice in trying to advise you on that now.
Good question, follow up, Felicia. In terms of advising someone like Marcus on that question, is that kind of where your culture and your organization speaks to mentoring? Like someone who's more senior will mentor someone. They see they have a capacity or propensity to do certain things, and then they'll try to get them into a sweet spot and kind of grow them with internal talent?
Yes, we do. We even have what we call an apprenticeship program. So we do have associates all over the company who are able to enter into different areas that they've never done before. So we've had some of our customer support team members that were a part of our apprenticeship program that kicked off this year. I think it was 6 of them were able to go through this program. 6 to 8 of them were able to go through this program to learn to be engineers. A rigorous internal program that was put together for them to learn that, and then also being placed within the teams and stuff as, you know, engineer ones and stuff, and they get to grow and mentor from the other team members there. And then we also do that as well when we bring in interns. So interns are doing the same thing. We're mentoring and guiding them as well. And then a lot of times when the internship is over and they're graduating, we do hire on the interns into permanent positions if we have actual, you know, open positions at that time. Our Eng 2 and Eng 3 positions are considered more like our junior and mid-level engineers. So as an Eng 2, we don't expect you to have all the knowledge and experience in that particular area, even though you may have experience in engineering from other roles and stuff, but that particular role, it is considered a junior level. And just having some of the knowledge and even just potential and the drive to do and learn the other stuff quickly, that's taken into consideration as well.
Awesome. We do have another great question in the chat from Shanika. What does growth and developing leadership skills look like within the engineering department? So it kind of goes hand in hand with that last one. Felicia or any of our engineering leadership wants to answer?
So I will say with the engineering, we do have what we call a levels and ladder program where you can see how you progress to the next level from an IC standpoint and also from a management standpoint. So it has listed out there all the different core traits that we're looking for in you as a leader in management or either a leader as an IC, and then also other focus traits for you to look at. And those are clearly defined with the different things that you would need to do to progress to that next level. Also, it's a great tool that is used by the managers of the different people that report to them to help, you know, identify any areas they need to grow and develop on. And then also looking for opportunities for them to showcase that particular, you know, skill and everything. Did that answer your question, Shanika?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you. Yeah, that and the apprenticeship earlier was probably what I was looking for. So thank you.
And then we have another question in the chat. Do you engage in contract to hire opportunities? I I don't know if I can speak to that exactly. I know we've had some contractors who we end up hiring on full time. Felicia or Mayor, anyone else? I'm not sure if you know if we have that. But yeah,
I'm not aware of any in the engineering department, but I think in other places maybe.
great question. Do we have any other questions or anything that we can answer about Mailchimp or hiring or engineering teams?
I have a question. With the acquisition, has that kind of pushed a surge in some of this hiring, or was this hiring already going on like last fall and it's just kind of a continuation? Or do you see, is the acquisition causing more hiring for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Felicia, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was going to say it's a combination of all of that you said, John.
Definitely.
Well, it sounds like a good acquisition then.
Yeah.
So we, we already had positions that we were hiring for as we're growing, but also we are dealing with the great resignation as everyone else and all the other companies are as well, right? So just to be open and honest and be transparent about that. And that's one of the great things that Mailchimp is we're open and transparent about things, right? So all of that you said, John, we had the positions before, we were growing, building out our product to make sure that we're delivering all those awesome, products for our customers. And then as well being hit with the, acquisition, and then of course the great resignation going on across the nation.
Maybe kind of a question kind of more about like having fun and things like that. But yeah, I was curious, like what are things that maybe Mailchimp as the company, and then maybe like in you all's individual teams that you're doing to keep everyone interacting, or like fun activities to do just to like build team camaraderie?
Yeah, that's such a good question. We have a employee engagement team, so a whole team that's dedicated to putting on Mailchimp events and speaker series. So we've had like speakers come in virtually. One of my favorites, we had a nutritionist who is also a psychologist, and she talked about like the different foods that you can eat to help you focus more, or to help combat like anxiety or depression. So sometimes not even really about engineering or design, but more so just about working from home. Like we actually had meditation Mondays when we first started working from home, where every Monday for like 15 minutes they would bring on a yoga instructor or meditation teacher to lead us through like a guided virtual meditation or yoga session. So those are some things that I can think of that we do from a team or a company-wide level. We also just had like our Mailchimp all hands earlier today. So having those like all hands meetings where we all come together certainly helps, keep that team mentality going as well. I know on my team, we try to do events quarterly where we do like a virtual event. We had a charcuterie board maker come in and teach us how to like make a charcuterie board last year, which was really fun. But if any other engineering managers want to pop on, or directors?
Yeah, we create some activities to do with our teams. For example, in some of my teams, we do on Thursdays, we have this block of time, we call it social time, where is unstructured and it's optional, but the whole idea is to get together as a team, but not talk about work, but just socialize and play games or something. I mean, right now with the pandemic going on, everything has to be online. So we try to keep like online games and things like that in which still employees can engage with each other and things like that. I've also know some teams that create activities, even though it's remote, but they would sell, for example, a package to make a meal at home, and they would have someone that would instruct them how to make a meal with the ingredients that they send to your house and things like that. So we are very keen in definitely taking care of our employees and make them feel as connected as possible in the midst of this pandemic situation we're all going through.
All right. If no one else has anything on that one, we have another question in the chat. What is the future landscape of email for you, like ordering with Siri, virtual assistants, etc.? Anybody want to tackle that one?
I didn't know if we wanted to pitch that to Alvaro, but but it's more his area. But we are in the main stage right now where we're going through and identifying, our big bets and the main customer things we want to focus on. We just started that. And actually at the all hands kind of went over that information, and then we're going to go ahead and pull out, what does that look like? What does that mean? And, go through and define all of those initiatives and capabilities, and that'll help define where we're going next and everything. So we're in the middle of doing that right now, and all that hasn't been fully defined, but I don't know, Alvaro, if you want to share anything any enhancements or anything you all have done in reference to that. And you got to remember that, we're not just email. People think of us as email. We're a big, marketing platform and doing all the other, things, e-commerce as well and stuff. So those are some big innovative things. But I do like that whole, Siri or even Alexa. Let's throw Alexa in there. Why Siri got to get all the attention, right? So yeah, Bixby, we will talk about Samsung. Let's talk about Bixby as well. But I do like that. That was something I thought about when I first joined Mailchimp. I was like, ooh, if our customers could just use, those different tools to speak to them and do all of that, which would be very interesting. But at Mailchimp, we are able to be very creative and innovative in our thoughts and try out new things and great things. So that's the great thing with being with the company. We don't limit our engineers in dreaming big.
All right. Any other questions?
I have another question.
Sure.
And as much as you see yourself as a global organization, I'm curious, what's a core day for your management? Do they typically see themselves based in Atlanta if they're based in Atlanta and that's their core hours? Or do they work toward whatever their needs are for a given day? Are you more nimble?
I'm gonna do a high level. Then I'll let each manager to speak for their area and everything. So we're very cognizant of the other teams and people across the US that we have to work with. And we try to make sure that we're setting like core times to have meetings and everything. But I will tell you, we are very focused on, we don't even like to say work-life balance, right? Because it should just be there. So one of the things about Mailchimp, which I just loved and I had to get used to, and still getting used to it, is that no one was searching for me to respond to an email at 10 something at night or 6 something in the morning, or expecting me soon as it was sent, a message or a Slack message was sent to me, immediate response. No, I would respond like 15 minutes later, which I thought was, kind of late. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just responding to it. Like, no. You're busy doing your things. You're, taking care of your team. You're, in some of the meeting and stuff. I wasn't even expecting a response at that time or at this time. So the company is truly focused on, yes, let's go out there and and do this great work and stuff, but we also want you to take care of yourself, be with your family, and have that downtime and everything. So yes, we try to be cognizant of, West Coast team members we have and do those meetings at that time, but we know that they're just starting later in the morning, and they know that we've already put in our hours for that day. So they're not going to try to disturb us or anything. My CTO and all of them, they are like, nope, they don't send out emails after 5:30. They're like, nope. Now they may schedule something to go out the next morning, but it doesn't go out until like 10 a.m. So they're very, very, I would say, respectful of people and their family and their times. They truly, want us to be able to take that time for ourselves and our families to take care of ourselves mentally and stuff. Because if we're not going to be able to do a good job anyway. Anyone else want to speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're adapting and we're still adapting. I think remote friendly is like top of mind, obviously, and there was like this whole almost mind shift that we had to do as we started to expand with new offices across the country and globally. And I think now, as part of the acquisition with Intuit, there's going to be a new adjustment, which is global and working with different time zones and things like that. But always keeping top of mind, the well-being of our employees and respectful for their time and their family time is always been core to us. So like Felicia mentioned, we're always super respectful of everyone's times, and everybody knows that on a remote friendly environment, you have to not expect like a response like as soon as someone sends you a message or anything like that. And we're getting better at always communicating to our teams and adjacent teams that we're working when we're out. And when people realize that you're out and see your status, like they really try to reach out to someone else on your team that can help them. But we try to keep people's times and family time as a priority.
I'd chime something in here. So I have two daughters that are in engineering at Georgia Tech. And the reputation that Mailchimp has just amongst a lot of the student population at GT, it's very good. I mean, it's one of, I don't know if there's a lot of interns that have come through or just a lot of, direct hire from Georgia Tech, but what they've heard is, very nice things about the culture, about, and being inclusive, like Kristen had said, great learning opportunities, great mentors there. So it's really, yeah, I mean, you guys are doing a great job with that, with that population, which is probably people you really want to be pulling in into the engineering group, especially. So, yeah, well done.
It's always great to hear that, John. We do have interns refer their classmates and everything to the intern program and everything. So we try to make sure it's a great experience for them as well as our teams. And then, of course, when the interns come there, they're not just working on throwaway work or busy work. They're actually working on production problems, issues, and projects that are going out into production. So we tell them they're not an intern, they're a part of the team. So we always tell them that. So I'm glad to hear that is.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, they shared that. I was actually doing real stuff. So yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to answer the chat question. I believe that all of our internships are college or like past college, like MBAs or graduate programs. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, she's correct. And I'm glad you asked that, Shanika, because I asked that when I first started at Mailchimp because I thought about the BDPA Atlanta chapter high school students because they are so awesome. And that program is great. I mean, when they go in and teach these students how to build web-based applications from scratch, that is what they're learning how to do. And when they go and compete at the national competition, they don't have the tools that our engineers have. They don't have the internet or anything to go in and Google or look at this. They have to remember everything from memory to code and create a problem that is given to them at that time. I know things have changed a little over the past 2 years. I believe they get the problem before they go there and go ahead and code it. But before, it was just, they had to go there and know everything. Given a problem at that time, I had to build an application from scratch in like a 5-hour time frame, and that's connecting to the database, doing the actual, UI UX design and everything, and all the front end and back end stuff. So the students are just awesome. So that was one of the things I asked. I even had talked to my VP at the time, and they was like, ooh, if we could get high school students in here, they was excited, but we talked about it and we weren't able to do that and everything. So maybe we can, push for that again to bring it down a little further and stuff, but they're awesome. Those students are kick-ass. They're kick-ass. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if anything changes, I know you'll probably be the first to let us know, Felicia.
Yeah, I'm glad that she asked that question. I want to piggyback off of that. So I'm not actually in Atlanta. I'm physically sitting in Houston, Texas, but I'm the Western region vice president for BDPA. So I handle multiple cities. And so a lot of different cities have different structures. We have academies built in, like in Houston, we have Rice University, we have Texas A&M, et cetera, and all these different academies where we're teaching people these types of skills, high school, college, et cetera. So I would be very curious and I'm going to do further exploration around how can we better integrate what we have at our level and align it with what the landing pad is, like having people launch here, land where you are, or even as we do some of our partnerships with organizations like Inroads, where we have formal internships and such. So I'm going to explore that myself, and I'll double back with more questions for you for better alignment and potential ongoing partnership.
So I will tell you that we have done an external program in engineering. It was a launch pad with, I believe, make sure I'm saying this right, Averill and Talmadge. Was it Treehouse?
Treehouse, and it was Clayton State University.
And also we do with Clayton State University. So yes, so we do 2 different programs where we're reaching out in the community and we bring them in as part of a program, and they come in as interns. And with so many of them, we look at placing them and in as permanent employees as well. So.
Yeah, I like to expand on that. Like, for example, the partnership we have with Clayton State University was really nice because we basically created a curriculum for college students for a whole semester in which they will come to Mailchimp and take classes, and we will give them classes on basically all the areas of development and QA and security, web development, SRE, and at the end they will present a project to based with maybe some of the tools that they learned and using some of Mailchimp capabilities. And we've been running that program for 2-3 years now. It's been really successful. And like Felicia mentioned, also we had the apprenticeship program from Treehouse, which they finish their Treehouse apprenticeship, then they come to Mailchimp and they do an internship for a semester with us. And at the end of the internship, there's opportunities for us to definitely offer a position for them. And we have several of them right now as full-time employees, and they are amazing.
Am I hearing you say that you already have an aligned partnership with organizations like Treehouse? Is that kind of the format that I should look at in terms of alignment with, like, I have a cluster of people at Stanford, I have a cluster of people at UCLA, up in Seattle, etc., all under my responsibility. So should I look at the treehouse model you have as how we might want to align?
I'm not sure specifically because but I think probably we can give you the information to reach out to our to the department in charge of this type of partnerships, and I think they can definitely give you the guidelines that we have.
That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions right now? Awesome. Well, I think that you'll get our contact information. So if you have anything that you have that you think of later tonight or tomorrow and you want to ask us, you certainly can. Oh yeah, I see it in the chat. Awesome. Great. So I guess I'll pass it back to Felicia or Shanika.
Any closing words, Felicia, and then I could also wrap it up.
No, just thank you all again for giving us this opportunity to come and speak about our company. We love to brag about the company and our peeps as well. And as Kristen said, if there's any other questions that you all come up with later or think about, I'm sure Shanika will get those to us. And then of course, Meredith is going to be sending out an email to everyone with a lot of the positions that were highlighted, and plus all the other ones that are available out there as well. I'm looking forward to hearing from a lot of you that are on this call in reference to applying for positions. That's how I want to hear from you and stuff. Yes, you too, Timothy.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Felicia. So thank you again, Mailchimp, for speaking with us this evening. Thanks, John, for making the connection. So yeah, everyone, feel free to connect with us. Look out for email details or emails with the details that were shared this evening. Again, the session was recorded, so that will be posted on our website shortly. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.